There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
The Montreal-based company Fortin has been literally establishing the timeline on all things technological when it comes to remote start, especially when it comes to bypassing digital solutions such as the latest in T-harness applications. We've got JP Raymond, their product expert, in the studio with us to break it all down for you for this upcoming remote start season. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM, Fortin, and it starts now. Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome, and thanks for tuning in to another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Coming off this long weekend, started to feel a little bit of shiver in the morning. It's getting a little cooler, and that means we're really heading into remote car starter season, which is a fantastic season for our dealers. As you know, this is a great period that we all benefit from because cars need remote starts, especially if you're in particular parts of North America. We happen to be in Canada, that goes without saying, and a lot of the northern U.S. But don't forget, this remote starter business has kind of expanded to the southern states as well, keeping cars cool instead of hot. So I don't want to be, prejudiced in my remarks. But we do live in Canada here, and there's no question about it. When September, October rolls around, dealers are gearing up. So you need to know the information that is out there so you're making the right decisions, making sure your inventory is ready to go for when the bum rush begins. All right, having said that, we're talking about Fortin. Montreal's always been a hub when it came to the engineering and development of the car starter business. I'll say, it's for sure, it continues to be. And Fortin is of course, is at the epicenter of that development. And we're very happy to have joining us once again, their sales manager, Mr. Jean-Paul Raymond. I'd like to invite him to the studio.
Hi, Ben.
Mr. JB.
Good to be with you. I mean, you're absolutely right. Labor Day has already gone by, and we're shifting into the fall season. And it's a good time to, think of fall products or winter products if you are a retailer. One of the things to say is, and one of the things I want to be able to convey today is basically the idea of, who are Fortin product designed for? There's a lot of different design criteria when it comes to our product. So on the agenda, I would like to talk about, the consumer side, the distributor side, the installer side, as well as the consumer side. So if, we just look at what, we are doing, basically, first of all, people that know Fortin a little bit are aware that we own a high-end 12-volt shop here in Montreal. In fact, it's a block away from where I'm sitting. And of course, we have installers there, but we're also a very large, if not the largest expediter on the island of Montreal, meaning we have another pool of installer there. So again, our product are designed and verified by our own installers when it comes to, being able to integrate it in vehicles and make it simple and make it so that if we are dealing with new car dealers, that new car dealers accept the ideas that we have, not hampering or not doing anything to the factory warranty, which I think is very important. So having said that, when we are talking about various products, we are basically talking about, the customer. Customer comes in your shop and they want a remote car started. At that point, they're not asking for anything else but starting their vehicles. They are, if I was back on the sales floor, one of the questions I would ask is, how do you want to control your vehicle when you start it? There are several ways to do it. Obviously, there's what's called 3-lock start. Hitting 3 locks on the remote button will allow the vehicle to start. Now, in our programming, not only do we do 3-lock start, but we also do lock, unlock, and relock so that the car is perfectly safe for those vehicles that have got lock confirmation on the second lock. So that way, if you got to get up at 4 in the morning, that pesky horn doesn't come on bothering your neighbor. So those are things that consumers want to be aware of when they're buying a product. And I believe that it is the salesperson duty to bring those things up.
JP, I'm just going to cut you off there. You've always been an advocate of how making sure that the salespeople are up to date, up to speed on what's going on so they could best do their job. And of course, maximize the amount of sales. But before we get too much into that, I had one question I want to ask you, because you haven't been on this network, obviously, since last remote start season. Last year, it was an interesting time, right? I mean, it was kind of weird, right? It was a little bit, not ideal. Can you just give us a quick update before we dive into the presentation of where we're at now compared to 12 months ago?
It's still not perfect. I mean, if you look at what's happening in the U.S., Mr. President Biden has really pushed hard to get some chip manufacturing done in the U.S. I mean, let's not forget that China went into lockdown for, big cities for months at the time because of COVID still. Now, there's also a bunch of containers that are stuck in different ports, whether it be Long Beach, whether it be Vancouver here in Canada, and even to a certain degree Montreal. Now, some of the reasons why they're stuck there is there's a few. Number one, right now, if you have a vehicle that's older than 2018, you're no longer allowed on the port to pick up a container because you're polluting too much. Wow. Number two, they are people that ordered containers worth of stuff. And when they looked at the price of bringing in a container, it's not worth their while anymore. So they're letting them rot there, literally. So they're.
You mean instead of paying their container bill?
Correct. Correct.
Wow.
So again, that's putting pressure on the amount of space that is available to unload containers from ships. So that's why from time to time we see drone footage of ship at seas waiting to unload containers. Well, those are the reasons why. I mean, everything's running full steam, but because of the lack of space for those containers just being there and not being, taken by by the person at final destination, or because you've got a truck that's older than 2018 and you can't go there anymore, it's still a few problems. Not perfect yet.
So what about in this Fortin space now? You guys are ready to rock and roll. What do you as far as inventory and all that stuff?
As far as inventory is concerned, we are okay. I mean, we got to secure stuff almost 2 years in advance, Ben. I mean, to a certain degree. And kind of interesting, back in June, one of our engineers came into my office and we were looking at crystals for remotes. And one was June 2024, so 2 years delivery for a crystal. And the other one had a question mark next to it. I said, what does that mean? Are we both going to be dead by the time they get here? I mean, it's just the way it is. So I still don't know about the second crystal when that thing's going to come in.
Okay, well, it is what it is. We don't have a crystal ball, but it's good to know that we're slightly better, more ahead than we were 12 months ago. So that's interesting.
Yes, we are better than we were.
All right. I know we have a presentation. So I interrupted you before.
We're
going to talk about the consumer. What else are we going to talk about before we put the presentation? Just give us an overview.
We're going to talk about the consumer. We're going to talk about the installer. We're going to talk about the distributor. We're going to talk about the retailer. And of course, everything that's new and exciting that we're bringing out this year.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and put up the presentation and let's get going. So this is Fortin, and take it away, Mr. Raymond.
Of course, we want to talk to who the product is designed for. That's for sure. And of course, the next slide is basically an introduction of the agenda, which we went over already. So, we'll go to the following one. And I think your introduction, about us basically is in the introduction, we touched on it. We are a high-end 12-volt shop here in Montreal. We are also an expediter, which gives us on the sales side an advantage to see how consumers are reacting and what pushes their buttons, so to speak, as well as having installers that are in the store as well as on the road, and what's required for both teams to perform well. So that probably gives us an advantage in a lot of places that our competitors don't necessarily have. So again, basically, one of the things that people love to tease me about here is that the fact that I love golf and they put it on every slide. Well, it turns out a Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday. So I guess I kind of love the game.
Loves golf. I love that. Loves golf.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. When we're not talking starter, maybe I'll hint a little bit of golf. That's probably why.
Perfect.
From our perspective, as I was saying, it is very important for us to see all sides of the business. Like I say, whether it's from selling on the floor, whether it's installing in the back or installing on the road, very, very important that all ties in together. And it's also important that we have a product that the consumer absolutely understands and not only understands, but can make perfect and full use of it. So having said that, we are going to cover those different things for the different people. And we'll see as this presentation evolves that, what are we bringing to the table as far as product is concerned. So you can go to the next slide if you'd like, Ben. The product is designed for all these different people. But first and foremost, we design a product that the consumer can use to the full potential of what they've actually purchased. So again, one of the things that we stress on is having very small modules. They don't realize it, but having a small module basically makes a world of difference for them in their vehicle, because space now comes at a premium with a small product. What you're looking at right now is an Evo 1, which is our all-in-one. It is capable of doing manual with the yellow loop. It is also capable of doing a starter alarm. So again, if we go to the salesperson, how many of you offer the possibility of doing an alarm when you are basically selling a remote starter? It's very important that you can do some add-on. That's where the money is. If you're not doing add-on, you are losing money all the time. So in this particular case with an Evo 1, you can say to the consumer, while we're in your vehicle and everything is opened up, we can do an alarm for $100 more. We all know that car theft in the recent years have been a problem. So why not offer that solution? I dare salespeople to tell me how many of them go through that routine on every sale when they're selling a starter. I mean, we have a shock sensor that is called FSS, Fortin shock sensor, that plugs directly into the module. So having said that, it makes life very easy. We have an output that can be fixed for a siren or pulse for the horn if the customer prefers it that way. And from an installer's standpoint, because that output is programmable and it can do the horn, you don't have to go under the hood to run a wire to do an external siren. So again, we think of all the possibilities and try to make life as easy as possible for everyone involved. So again, for the consumer, as we will see a little later, Ben, we also make different ways of controlling your vehicle. There is a phone app called Evo Start 2. There's another phone app that's going to be coming down the road, which we'll talk about a little later.
Is that I think we're saving that one for the next session, though, are we not?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So just to be clear, there are two Fortin sessions. This one will be primarily focused on remote start security,
Correct.
and then the other one will actually be a showcase. So you want to tune into that one. we're kind of unveiling something new on the telematics side of things.
Correct.
So,
Correct. I was running over myself. I'm excited.
Don't burst the bubble yet. We got to build up some excitement here.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So, again, how do the consumer want to control their vehicle? Like I say, with their factory remote with 3-lock start, it could be an aftermarket remote, which we have and we'll talk about a little later on, or it could be using a phone app. Right now, I can say we are compatible with My Car. We are also compatible with Directed's phone app.
A lot of compatibility when it comes to
when it comes to the consumer, I think they're well served. So we can certainly go to the next slide. And, the installers today are faced with some challenges. I mean, pretty much are gone the days of wire to wire. Right now, a lot of manufacturers are opting to go with aluminum wire. And when trying to solder aluminum to copper, it is a different way of doing things. I mean, aluminum has got basically half of the boiling point of copper, or melting point, I should say, not boiling, but boiling would be about the same. And aluminum is less than half of the weight of copper. So it takes twice the size of an aluminum wire to get the same current going through as copper. So you're still gaining on weight, making the vehicle lighter, and therefore making it less of a gas guzzler. So that's why car manufacturers are now turning to aluminum. So we have T-harnesses. We have a complete T-harness list. In fact, we're introducing a couple more right now as we speak that we're going to be shipping very shortly before the end of the month. And, I think it's the way to go. There, on our Expediter side, there is no job that would be done without a T-harness at car dealer level.
How important is that for the dealership to know that?
It's very important. I mean, if you show the consumer that you're going to be hacking in their wires in the vehicle, and when I say hacking, I mean, I know you guys all do a proper job out there, but still, to a consumer, it's kind of a scary proposition to see that you're going to be soldering in their wires in there. And if you present a T-harness at the moment of sales and say, okay, there's a T-harness for your vehicle and it's going to be this much, or we can actually, go wire to wire and explain to them what wire to wire is. Bet you that 9 times out of 10, they'll choose to go with a T-harness.
I want to comment on this. This is not our first discussion about T-harnesses, and yet I still see some hesitancy out there for T-harnesses. A couple of the arguments that I see come up, JP, are, but the customer doesn't want to spend more. They're on a tight budget. You know what I mean? And here's what I want to say about that. I'd like to hear your opinion on this, JP. I think number one, to do a proper job of selling through a T-harness situation, maybe you should show a visual representation of what that looks. Maybe show them what a wire-to-wire scenario is, and then compare it side by side with what a T-harness solution would look like. In fact, the average consumer wouldn't even know you did anything in the T-harness solution side of things because everything looks so factory. That's number one. And then the cost analysis, I think, is a two-tier level conversation. Number one, I've been on the sales floor. When you tell a customer that there is an item, a product, which is engineered specifically for their vehicle on an application-specific type thing, if they know about it, the chances are they will go for it, because the other option to that is universal custom. Most consumers will always opt for that application-specific solution, regardless if we're talking audio or we're talking remote start. It doesn't matter. The other side to that is efficiency in the bay. We talk about this all the time. It takes a certain amount of know-how to do the wire-to-wire. A lot of the old school guys know how to do it, but you're getting into a time and space where it's getting increasingly more challenging to find new help in the bay. Younger technicians, why not build them some confidence with T-harness solutions, which is so much easier to get into. I'll stop. Those are the comments I wanted to make, JP. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
You're absolutely right. And should the car go back to a mechanic or a car dealership, whenever they see wire to wire, they get suspicious and they blame the installer or the install for any type of problem on the vehicle. Yet when they see a T-harness, they know that this was done very professionally And this should not affect anything on the vehicle to the point where they'll, if need be, they'll unplug it because they know they can plug it back in a snap, diagnose what the real problem is, and then give the consumer his vehicle back. So T-harnesses, just in that, are worth their weight in gold, quite frankly. When it comes to T-harnesses, we have two series. We have a series for the Evo All, and we have a series for the Evo One. The nice thing is, if they fit on an Evo All, they will fit on an Evo One because they share the same connector. The Evo All being a low-powered device that basically can do a bypass if you're doing an older type analog starter. It can be a starter by itself on most low-powered vehicles. In fact, it'll do over 3,500 vehicles by itself. Or it can be a CAN alarm, the alarm and disarm using the factory wires. Again, it has the pulsed output, either for a siren or a horn, constant or pulsed. So again, that's one of the things that is important out there when it comes to an Evo All. Evo One has got an Evo All built inside, plus a high-powered starter, and has the ability to do a combo. Unlike an Evo All that can be one of those three things, the Evo One can be a starter alarm combo, where the Evo All cannot. The Evo All also doesn't have the ability to do manual transmission vehicles.
Right, very important. All right.
So, like I say, for the installer, my preference is definitely to go with T-harnesses these days. In fact, I use the following example. Everybody uses a T-harness when it comes to a radio. Well, if you mess up your wiring, the worst that can happen is you'll blow a 30-cent fuse, or you'll put a speaker out of phase and it won't sound good. Where with a remote starter, you're interfacing with BCM and ECM. And if you blow any of those computers, it could be thousands of dollars. 100%. So again, one for the caution when you're doing a remote start. Now, distributor, what do they want? They want a product that can be shipped in a timely fashion. They'll get into their warehouse because we all understand that the remote start season is fairly short. They want a product that'll offer a good warranty. They want a company that'll offer a good tech support department, which is very important for them so that their customers don't call them back and say, gee, I can't get any information from that company. In our case, we have a very solid tech support team. I mean, the youngest guy being with us has been with us for 6 years. So these guys know their product, and we try to keep, even in peak season, a wait time to a minimum. So for those of you that have never used our tech support, I get, compliments all the time from various, customers that have been using our tech support, saying that it's really, really on track and the guys know what they're doing. And we do answer calls in a timely fashion. They also want a product that'll offer a decent warranty. And they also want people at the other end of the phone dealing with the manufacturer that can answer their questions and be supportive of them as well. So that's important as a distributor. So the retailer, they're looking for a product that will appeal to their consumers. They're also looking for, some guidance like we are doing today to a certain degree. And I'm always available to talk sales when, people want to know what's going on and, some of the strategy that they should take. I love doing that. I mean, they can call me at liberty and I'll get back to them. I can't promise 24 hours, but I'll get back to them quickly. They want a product that, will offer them a good warranty. And again, they want people at the other end of the line. And I think one of the great things being a manufacturer here in Canada is the fact that, they can reach us, they can talk to us. It's not like we are strangers and there's a distributor in between that's kind of like a buffer, if you see what I'm saying. They can talk directly to us.
Yeah, you're not distant. Fortin is not like overseas or in Europe or something like that.
No, not at all. I mean, we manufacture, we have our own engineering team here. Everybody is in this building, quite frankly, except for the store and the guys on the road.
Exactly.
So, what do we think about when we're designing a product? Well, again, we think of the consumer, we think of the installer, we think of the retailer, And we think of the distributor. I mean, to us, those are important people when designing a product. And we'll often consult with those people as to what we should do when we're designing a product. So, to us, all four categories of people are important. So again, when designing a product, we design remotes that are made for human beings. What do I mean by that? I mean, we design remote with large buttons. If you look out there, there are remotes that are trying to be small, but also have very small buttons, small to the point where you almost need a surgical instrument to get them to work. In our case, we know that this is mostly a wintertime product where people are going to be wearing gloves. So if you have big buttons, they become easy to push, even if you've got gloves on or any of that kind of stuff. We also try to make them very intuitive to, how they're located on the remote, where they're located on the remote. And we do not have buttons that are instant press. So you need to press to start a couple of seconds, and the same old's true for unlock on your remote.
And that's important because I have come across some remotes, JP, where they were, I'll call them hypersensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these remotes people keep in their pouch, on their person, in their purse. They bump into things, and if those remotes are too hypersensitive, I mean, that could be just as negative an experience as any other.
Very much so. Very much so. Mm-hmm. So again, we have different series of remotes. So if you could go to the next slide. We've talked about the Evo All total flexibility. So whether it is to do a CAN alarm, whether it is to do a bypass in conjunction with an analog starter, or whether it be to be a standalone starter by itself on low-powered vehicle, over 3,500 of them. So very, very flexible.
Very cool.
Evo 1, well, Evo 1 is total flexibility. Evo 1, one of the things, again, when we think about consumers, and this could concern installers as well, is the lowest power consuming all-in-one in the market. Going to be using their vehicle as often as they did prior. And essentially, if they're not using their vehicle as they did prior to working from home, the battery may not be in as great shape as it once was, or is not always constantly fully charged. So if we can minimize consumption at our end, then it means that, when they go to the vehicle will actually start, as opposed to, not starting because the battery's dead, because the Evo 1 was consuming too much current. So again, less current consumption than any other all-in-one in the marketplace.
Very cool.
So
and that is, just for the record, JP, that is your most popular SKU, is it not? Right.
That is by far our most popular SKU. And we've added popularity. Right now, we're starting to ship this week a product called the 3641. When it comes to Evo 1 3641, basically is a remote that is designed to compete with the analog bypass solution that a lot of people are using. I mean, what we've done is we're now using a 4-button one-way remote with a one-way receiver, sort of to bring the cost in alignment with just about what a normal product would cost. When I say normal, I would call it an analog and a bypass. Mm-hmm. And it's done through an Evo 1. So again, the possibility of doing an alarm exists. It's FM, and it's a 4-button remote. Unfortunately, at the time of the presentation, I didn't have a picture of the remote. It was just off the press, and we're shipping this week.
Okay. Maybe you can update that for us on our next session.
Yes. 2,000 feet of range, by the way.
Wow, 2,000 feet, eh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And FM.
FM 2,000 feet.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
So we can go on to the next one if you'd like.
Yep, I just switched it to flexibility now.
Flexibility. Well, flexibility for us is, if you want to do wire to wire, you can still do the wire to wire thing. But again, We are definitely a proponent of T-harness. That's why our range of T-harness is so great that, we've got them for just about every vehicle on the road. And as soon as new vehicles come out, we try to research and come out with a T-harness for those vehicles. Again, understand that our business on the expediter side requires them. So for us, we're doing them for ourselves, but we're also doing them for the people at large to be able to use them. And again, we try to be as flexible as possible. We do everything with two products, Evo All and Evo One.
Question for you, JP.
Yes.
On your application, it says the word plug and play here for flexibility. Is it truly plug and play? Or is there any wiring I need to tap or splice or solder?
All right. It's, how can I put this? 99% plug and play, and I'll tell you why that is. If we made a true plug and play T-harness, the problem would become that it would do only maybe one vehicle in a family of vehicle that are similar. So you would have T-harnesses for let's say, one model of Toyota, then it'd be a different T-harness for the next model. So we try to do them by families. So because we do them by families, you may have one or two wires that you will need to hook up, but that's it. So that's why I'm saying 99% plug and play.
And that's honest, and that's very fair. And I wanted just to point that out so there's no misconception of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Let's talk about compact design.
Well, we try to make our remote compact. As you can see, we've got a picture there against a OEM remote, let's call it that. And we try to make it so that it doesn't occupy a lot of real estate in your pocket. We try to make it so it doesn't, bother you. And we try to make them as lightweight as possible, because weight is also a concern when you have this in your pockets. And again, from an operating standpoint, we try to make them that they're operatable using gloves and using human fingers.
Kind of important.
Yes. Yes. Because after all, it's humans that are going to be using the product. So again, battery, you've got a pickup battery and you've got an electric shaver battery. Well, unfortunately, the electric shaver battery is about the size of a Honda Civic battery these days. And if you consume too much current, you're certainly going to run into a problem down the road should that person not use their vehicle for a week or maybe 10 days. And it is not uncommon, even though that person may not be working from home, that we have people leaving their car at the airport for 7 to 10 days because they're going on a vacation where it's perhaps a little warmer than Canada during the wintertime. So what a bad way to end your vacation when you're coming back to a dead battery and you have to get the car boosted so that you can be on your way. So the less current you consume, the better off the consumers are, right? So when it comes to a pickup truck, you know what? Most of them will withstand a fair amount of consumption. But when you're in a small compact vehicle, they won't tolerate much consumption and be able to start after a few days. So again, the less, the better. I mean, there's also vehicles now getting with monitoring system for power consumption. So if you consume too much, check engine could come on and all this kind of stuff. So again, let's try to minimize so that we don't run into those problems.
Are the current generation the lowest consumption units to date? I would imagine.
Yes, they are by far.
Mm-hmm.
By far. Now, if you think of a 3641, I was saying that is designed to replace an analog and a bypass. Well, having everything in one chassis ensures that you're not running two power supplies. You're just running one. So you're going to consume much less current than having those two units sitting there under the dash, let alone the fact that you're going to occupy a lot less space using an Evo 1 than you would an analog module with a bypass.
Yeah, understood.
So,
here we go. Some new product.
Yes, sir. New products. I mean, we're introducing a Subaru solution for 20 to 22. Well, first of all, T-harness. Told you we were proponents of T-harness. Well, we've introduced a Subaru solution for 20 to 22 PTS. And we're also, by the same token, introducing a T-harness to do those vehicles. So that's going to be your TAR 1 Sub 4. When you see in the model number 1, ONE, it basically means that it's going to be an EVO 1 harness, meaning that your Subaru will require an EVO 1 to be able to do the job.
Gotcha.
So,
For both auto and manual.
yes,
Beautiful.
correct.
I know Subaru guys have been waiting a lot when they switched it over to the 2020 rather. Yeah, everybody was like, oh, what do we do now? So here we go.
Absolutely. So we listen to their prayers.
Perfect. Let's see what else we got new.
So we're also introducing a Toyota harness, Toy 16. They'll do a family of Toyota vehicles. It's one that, everybody was kind of looking for. The toy vehicle, I mean, Toyota is a big seller, and it seems that for whatever reason, Toyota has not been necessarily short of vehicle as much as other, manufacturers have been. So your RAV4 Prime PTS, your Sienna Hybrid PTS, Venza Hybrid, which is a big one. I mean, I'm seeing more and more of those on the road, and your Corolla Cross, as well as your Tundra.
Wow, brand new.
Yep. Nice. Yep. So, see, I was talking earlier about doing families of vehicle.
That's what you meant.
A perfect example there. I mean, without looking at the wiring, maybe we could have done a couple with one T-harness, another couple with another T-harness. So that's why sometimes there's one or two wire to hook up, because we do an entire family.
Makes sense. Let's see what else there is new.
There's
the warranty.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, was that? I think that concluded the new applications, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I would like to talk about our warranty, because it seems that basically there's a lot of misunderstanding out there about our warranty. Our warranty is main modules, whether EVO All, EVO 1, are guaranteed for 4 years since 2020 date of manufacturing. So 4 years on those modules. Remotes, in the 4 series remotes, the warranty is parts and labor. And on the 9 series remote, it is 2 years parts and labor. So again, that's kind of important to know. Your distributors are all aware. They've received a one-pager warranty. So if you're a retailer and you'd like to get it, contact your distributor. They have it, and they'll be able to send it to you.
All right. Having 4 years of the unit, pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's very solid, to be honest with you. So again, if you'd like to contact us, me, if you want to discuss about sales or various other things, my number is there, my extension is there, and tech support. Tech support is going to be open basically. They open from mid-October to mid-January, so somewhere around the 15th will be the extended hours for you guys out west and Saturdays. So I haven't finalized the date with them yet. So again, but approximately mid-October, right after our Canadian Thanksgiving, we'll start opening up with the extended hours and Saturdays.
Makes sense. Lots of support.
Absolutely.
Finally, that's it for the presentation. Let's go ahead and take down this presentation so you and I can have some discussion here. I wrote down a couple of things. You saw me pointing down, writing things down.
Mm-hmm.
There are some great reasons to choose to partner up with Fortin. I mean, technology is one thing, product is another thing, but I'm happy that you brought up the support at the end. This is a company, and I want to reiterate this. So you heard JP say it, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of history from my end to give some perspective to the Fortin brand, okay? I grew up in Montreal, as you know, and many people do know. Fortin has always been a major player in the landscape of all things 12 volt for as long as I can remember. I remember seeing JP in his previous life in car audio at some of these gatherings at Fortin. Like it was a hot spot. And to see how that company has then extended and evolved into what they're doing now while maintaining their roots, on the retail side of things, I think I just wanted to take a moment to highlight how important that is for the retailer who's buying in to partner up with this brand. When JP says that they have technicians on the road servicing brand new vehicles, because it's a big expediter business, that is their ear to the ground of what's going on. You know that T-harness has been put into 50 vehicles before they even put it in a box for you. So I want to reiterate that component that makes Fortin, in my mind, unique in the landscape of all things, remote start security.
And that's a good observation. I mean, it's sometimes, it's good to see and hear what people from the outside have to say. And Ben, I think with those comments, you're absolutely bang on. I mean, ear to the ground or boots to the ground, it is the best way to do things. And like I say, we're doing it at all level, whether it is selling at the store, whether it's installing at brand new car dealerships. We get the feedback from all those people, and therefore it improves us as a company all the time. I mean, whether it is improving our warranty since 2020 on products, on main modules, and on remotes, that has been improved. And when it comes to T-harness, it's limited lifetime unless they are cut or run through the blender, as I like to say. So you guys know what I mean by that. And should tech support give you an authorization to modify a T-harness, please ask for an RMA number immediately. They'll be able to give it to you. And that way, if it comes back, sure that we see that RMA number. So at that point, if it's been modified a bit, we'll still take it under warranty.
Perfect. I wanted to take a second to talk about your partners through distribution across North America. We never really had a chance to talk about it. I'd like to give you an opportunity to kind of show, shine a light on those partners of yours. So let's talk about Canada first.
Well, Canada, we have now, I can say coast to coast, Importel. I mean, with their recent acquisition of B&B out in Western Canada, they are a big player. Also in Ontario, we have Carity. We also do some business with 12-volt Solution. In Saskatchewan, the good people at Grand West are a good partner of ours. In Edmonton, we also have Dick's Performance North as a good partner of ours, and DLC, which is located in Vancouver. So that sort of covers your Canadian market.
Perfect. And of course, if you're in Quebec, well, call you.
Exactly. You can call us if you're in Quebec. And not a problem at all. We'll take care of you.
Who would you recommend for the East Coast?
On the East Coast, they can still call us. It's kind of a different market at this point. So you can also use Importel. They have one guy that takes care of the Maritimes as well.
Perfect. And they ship out of Toronto, which isn't too bad. So what about in the U.S.? Well, who are your main partners as far as
in the U.S., serving a good part of the U.S. is a company called Go Fast Solution. They're located in Connecticut. We also have a company in North Carolina called Shiflett Dixon. In Florida, we do business with Lesco Distributing. In Ohio, there's a place called Wholesale House that we do business with. That's been a good partner of ours. We also do business with a company called Santa Fe.
That sounds West Coast.
Correct. And we do business with I'm trying not to forget anybody here, Mountain West, which has 2 locations. They're in Salt Lake City as their main location, so Utah. And those are our partners in the U.S.
Perfect. And if you missed any, of course, we're going to give you the information at the end of the show. You can contact Fortin, and they will guide you to the right path to make sure
Absolutely.
We talked about T-harnesses at length. I don't know if there's anything more to say about T-harness, but here's my message for dealers tuning in. T-harnesses are not going away. They're only going to become more and more and more widely available to more applications. That's all I have to say about that.
Absolutely.
Last but not least, we're about to gear up. A lot of shops are kind of getting ready for the season. It's you're going to see the promotions start happening, and obviously once the weather gets cold, I mean that's the time. So, what advice this year given all the the change that's happened in the market, the products that are now available, what advice do you have for dealers to maximize their sales this upcoming remote start season, JP?
I mean, the idea is that remote starters do bring to a 12-volt store a different demographics than your car audio would bring. In this particular case, you got to be able to showcase products that you're selling, i.e., it could be heated seats. Have them on display and show people that you can do heated seats in their vehicle. Maybe it's something you'll be able to add on. We were talking about alarm add-on on an Evo 1. Well, a heated seat could be the same thing. I mean, wiper blades could be the same thing if you guys care to go that road, or even cabin air filter could be a good one. There's a multitude of things.
I'm going to say lighting and remote start go hand in hand.
Oh, lighting. I mean, the days are starting to be very short right now. And our population in Canada is aging. So lighting could be another good one. I mean, there's several add-ons, but you guys got to have them on display and offer them when the consumer walks in. They don't know the extent of the product categories you're actually selling. It is your job to show them what you're actually selling and try to get them interested in all the stuff that you can offer at your shop.
The thing with retail is we always remember the know-it-alls. That customer that comes in that obviously acts and struts around like he knows more than you. You're always going to have those. Those are the ones you're going to remember. But the other 95% people don't know unless you tell them or show them.
Exactly. And that's very important. That's very important. Like I say, our job is to show people what we have to offer. If we don't show the complete offering, we've only done half our job.
I think that's a wrap, JP. I think we covered everything for this season as far as remote start is concerned. A couple things that are coming up. Obviously, tomorrow night on Wednesday night, you'll be part of our CMA Live, where we kind of talk to all the top brands and find out what's the landscape of remote start heading into our 2022 remote start season. And of course, you're going to be back with us next week when we're talking about a brand new unveiling of a telematics solution courtesy of Fortin. For the moment, I want to bring up your digits. If you're looking for more information on Fortin products, you want to check out fortin.ca. Fortin for you, my American friends. Fortin for our Canadian friends. And if you're looking for to be a dealer, well, same website, fortin.ca. They will direct you to the one that is closest to you that will best serve you. Correct. JP, last message that you have for our viewers.
Hey, good remote starter season to everyone. And like I say, offer. The worst that can happen is you get a no.
You're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Some crazy Canadian guy said that once.
That's absolutely correct. It's like a putt in golf. 90% of the putts that don't get to the hole never make it in.
100%. There you go. You have to slide into golf somehow.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, JP.
All right. Take care. Thanks, Ben.
That was JP Raymond from Fortin. Thank you so much to him. And again, great product, great service, great brand. Definitely take a look and explore if you aren't already a Fortin dealer. All right. Of course, if you're tuned in now, then you're interested in the remote starter topic. Well, you're going to stay locked in here at CMA Networks right through until September 15th as we are going through our remote starters and telematics sessions. Wow, what a great catalog of brands that are signed up for this presentation. Pretty much the biggest in the biz. Definitely tune in every day as we go and highlight one brand at a time. Now, we've got an incredible contest. You're going to hear me talk about it pretty much every chance I get. It's called the Ultimate Fab Experience Giveaway. All you technicians out there, CMA Networks and MasterTech Expo, partnering up along with 5-Axis Innovations and Sirius XM. We're giving away 2 trips, one for an American, one for a Canadian, to go to Mesa, Arizona, and participate at the MasterTech Expo. Flights paid, hotel paid, and the courses. Incredible package. CMAnetworks.com/giveaway. And while you're there, make sure you check out all our other great videos on CMAnetworks.com. Search for them by brand, by category, or through your favorite trainer. JP, he's got a whole bunch of videos that he's done with us already if you want to learn more about Fortin products. That's it for this CMA Connected presented by Sirius XM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
mean, yeah, this time about
Stop
you know,
it.
today's the day where I'm gonna go
Yo.
topless.
Roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?